This is Starting Point, a podcast that tracks Guyana's unprecedented growth from all vantage points. Join your hosts, Kiana Wilberg and Fariza Hanif, as they dive deep into the heart of topical issues.
Welcome to this week's episode of A Starting Point. I am your host, Kiana Wilberg, and I'm joined by my fashionista co-host, Ms. Fariza Hanif. Today we place the spotlight on a very important topic, and that pertains to the strengthening of local democratic organs as well as regional development. And what better person to provide us with critical insights on these very important issues than the minister responsible for these areas, the Honorable Ms. Sonia Parag. Minister Parag, thank you so much for gracing us with your presence today.
It is an absolute pleasure to be here this morning with you, Kiana, and with you, Fariza. And I love the fact that we are an all-woman panel.
Yes.
And so, it's a pleasure to be here this morning.
So I want to jump straight into our discussion. And I want to start from a personal note. You came into politics as being known with your legal background, and you were given the portfolio of public service, and then you were transitioned to the Minister of Local Government and Regional Development, and that was in January of 2024. And I don't need to repeat any of it. You are well aware of how you were underestimated in this capacity, especially by members of the opposition. 1 year later, I want to give you the opportunity to respond to those who underestimated you and your ability to make a difference in this portfolio.
Well, to answer your question, I'm not quite sure who's underestimating me. But, we've had an opposition, and as an opposition, they do what an opposition would do, which is to oppose any and everything. But I have found that their opposition in many of the instances are just for the sake of opposing without any sort of merit. But in relation to myself coming into this portfolio, I think I want to first start with thanking our General Secretary of the People's Progressive Party, Dr. Parag. I'd like to thank our President, Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali, for giving me the opportunity, both from the party as well as the government, to be able to serve not only as a minister, but a minister in a portfolio such as public service, and now in a capacity where previously was not previously held by a woman.
You broke a gap
in the
last
history,
year.
right? In the history of the country, and it says a lot of the leadership of our government as well as our party, and the value that they place on women. So coming into this, I think for me, it has been, I believe that the best political tool you can have is a genuine heart to be able to help people. Once you have that, and that becomes your most valuable asset as a politician, because people will sift what is fake and what is genuine after a while. You can only do it for so long if you're fake, and your true colors will come out. Right. So once you have a genuine heart and there's a willingness to help, and that is the fact that you're coming into a particular portfolio, irrespective of what that portfolio is or that platform is, you're coming into it with the intention of serving the people as best as your ability can take you to do that. And with a pure heart, because that's what I believe. This is why I am associating myself and has chosen to become a part of the party, a member of the party, because I find that the persons who are the highest in decision making, whether it be the executive of the party or whether it be the cabinet of the government, that they are all about serving the people. The president has led by example. He's led from the front. He's led with walking with us, with the people. And it's an inspiration for me. It helps me to cement what I already know that I want to come into this helping people. So it gives me that boost to say, look, I'm having that support as well around me. So I think that the best, if people are underestimating me, then perhaps maybe they're not as genuine in what they want to do. And so they can't achieve that. And so when they see someone moving from one level to the next and breaking glass ceilings, as you said, or whatever portfolio they're in, they have entered that with the best of intentions and is giving all their effort and energies towards that, and working to the best of their abilities. I think people underestimate that only if they are not the same.
I want to follow up on that, Minister Parag. And I noted that, you have clearly demonstrated, first and foremost, that you're a force to be reckoned with. But each of us, when we go into something, we have our own style, our own approach
That's
to
right.
how we want to make a difference.
Right.
What has been your approach with the portfolio of Minister of Local Government and Regional Development?
So the first thing I did coming into local government was that it's a huge portfolio.
Mm-hmm.
It literally is the entire country because you're looking at all of the systems of governance and all of the structures of governance. But coming into it, obviously coming into any portfolio, you have to understand what that portfolio entails. So the first thing for me was to ensure that I understood, even when when the portfolio was gazetted and my specific name was gazetted, I made sure that I checked the list of functions of that particular portfolio, which I also did with public service.
Mm-hmm.
And it helped me to understand what I needed to do. And from that point of view, I would have started to map out in my head how I want to be able to achieve these things. So the first thing about local government and the structure of local government is that you must have democracy. You must be able to bring democracy to the people because you have a system and structure in place, such as the regional system and the local democratic organs, that is supposed to be able to help you to have the resources be equitably distributed amongst the grassroots, if you want to call it grassroots, if you want to call it that, or the people. It must trickle down directly to the people. It must be done in an equitable manner. It must be done through consultation. It must be done with the people's, with the engagement with people. And that's where the democratic principles come in. So that was the first thing that I understood about this portfolio. So I started to work with that in my head and then you build out your own style and of how you want to be able to get that or be able to achieve that. And so, of course, you have the regional structure, which will have programs such as agriculture, infrastructure, education, health. And it's pretty important that these are very important sectors.
Yes.
So everything that is trickling through, whether you're building a health center, whether you are ensuring that you have the number of chronic patients in your health records and you are able to serve them better, you strengthen the system going forward like that. And so all of the infrastructure for schools and so on. So that was the first thing. But also I thought it was necessary that I be on the ground too. So it wasn't just sitting from an office level and ensuring that the local leaders do what they have to do. You have to work with them on the ground, equally with them, and also be engaging the people on the ground, because that's the only way you will get a direct feedback. That's the only way people will be able to voice what it is that they want to voice. And we've always believed in, as this particular Irfan government, that engaging with the grassroots is so important. It's absolutely important. And I say grassroots all the time, but it's just the people in the communities. Engaging with people. And it's something that I have noted it's something that I have taken in from the president from the first time he started. And so I'm just going with I'm just adopting what the president has already set in place. So I think that those are things that are it's, you have these local democratic organs, and some people don't want that structure to be in place. But I quite frankly think it's necessary, because you'll have a huge gap between the cabinet and the people. And so you have to have these layers. But we all have to be on the same page, and we all have to be communicating with each other to be able to function well and to be able to execute whatever projects, whatever programs, policies we have in place for the people.
And on that same point of the projects and the programs and enhancing the local democratic organs, a lot has been done to strengthen them as well.
Yes.
And your ministry has also been investing in the markets and refurbishing the markets and strengthening the structures or the physical infrastructure. Can you talk a little bit about the scale of investments over the past 5 years? And I really want us to zone into what the plans are for the Starbrook and the border markets. That's a sore issue for a lot of citizens.
Yes. So markets, it's one thing. The local government ministry encompasses, again, all of the regions, and through our fiscal space and our budget presentations, the regions are dealt with individually. So they all have a budget individually that they will be executing, that they will be ensuring that they execute their various projects under their program heads. But you also have specific interventions that have been made by this government in relation to strengthening the local authorities in the local democratic councils. One of those that I want to bring to your attention before I even get into the market is the fact that in our manifesto in 2020, we had committed to substantially increasing subventions for the NDCs and the municipalities. So we have 70 NDCs, 10 municipalities, so that's 80 local authority bodies. And when in 2025, they were at $5 million for the NDCs and varying amounts for the municipalities. But you would have noted early in the year, the Vice President met with all of these local authorities and announced that we were increasing the subventions substantially from $5 million to $30 million. And that was to help to financially strengthen them, to ensure that the economic as well as the social aspects of the communities were addressed. Issues that would have come on, the social or economic issues, that they would be addressed adequately. So, and $50 million for the municipalities. So there has been a substantial increase in that. And we have been working with them to ensure that their work programs would be able to uplift the lives of the residents in the communities.
Correct.
More than that, though, we have started to empower these local authority bodies in another way. We are looking, the thing about communities. I mean, we're all living in a perhaps rural or township or whatever it is. And we all know that the things that are affecting communities are things like drainage, garbage. You're building all the infrastructure, and that's fantastic. The country is going to look wonderful, and it's going to boost our economy so much. And when we go into the communities, you still have one and two issues, because we're not a government who stands on a platform and pretend that everything is great, right? There are still things that needs to be fixed and things that needs to be done, though we have done so much already. And so drainage was one of those things. And through the Ministry of Agriculture, we were able to empower the local democratic organs by providing a mini excavator to all of them to be able to assist with the drainage, in addition to what was already given to the regions. But also we are looking at, before the end of the year, equipping those LLAs with, or the NDCs and municipalities with a garbage truck each. So that they would be able, we're not exactly moving away from the tractors, because we still have those as well.
Right.
So we're going to be adding to what we have, but also upgrading, if you want to call it that. But garbage collection and disposal is a big deal in the communities. And so moving towards a garbage truck opening new landfill sites in areas. So we have actually established 13 landfill sites in the last 4 years that we've been in government, and we're working towards establishing more in different regions, so that we would be able, because with all the commercial activities and so on that's happening, and more domestic waste as well, there's a need for it.
Correct.
So we are working on having those established now too. And so those are things that are community based. Those are things that directly affect residents in their daily lives. Whatever job, whatever things they have to execute in their daily lives. So we want to be able to equip them financially as well as with the actual equipment to be able to function better, to be able to strengthen their capacity to function. So those are some of the things. But markets are very important, and I suppose because I'm in this portfolio now, you are able to understand and see how that is important. One of the things that markets do for communities, it literally integrates people. It literally brings people together, and they have that common place where they can be able to go and get the fresh things that they need to, whether it be fish, whether it be greens, whether it be all of these things. And it's a place where they meet, they communicate, they buy from, they empower their fellow residents by buying from them. And so it serves both to me as a social as well as an economic benefit for communities. So we have been rehabilitating through the Ministry of Local Government certain markets, and also building from scratch certain markets. So you've seen what has happened with the Lenora market, and how that has really been enhanced in terms of the traffic, in terms of the vendors being able to earn more, and so on. And of course, that trickles down to the farmers who are bringing out their produce and everything. So there is a whole effect that is happening there. But you asked specifically about the Stabroek as well as the border market. So border market, the president had actually made a visit last year to border market, an impromptu visit. As you know, he always touches down here or there, and I think sometimes we're all sleeping, and when we wake up, we see him at somewhere or the other. So that was one of those, because I actually woke up and saw him at border. But yeah, so and he made a commitment that he would look at reworking the border green area. So we held a meeting. We held 2 sessions of consultations through the Ministry of Local Government with the vendors of the border green. And that's actually in this year's budget to be able to build that out. We're looking perhaps at a 2-story building that will accommodate vendors. And it's where you have less space, you have to creatively use that space to be able to have more persons be included. So the border green is one of those areas that we're looking at putting up a 2-story. But we don't, at this point in time, you have to have robust consultation, because markets are it's very different from just building a housing scheme. Because again, these are people who are there. You have to displace them. You have to also provide adequate space in the meanwhile, so that they will continue to earn. And so we have to continue that. But within the next month or so, we will get back to that consultation and work through that. The Stabroek market, we also have, I took a walk around in the Stabroek market, and then subsequently the president was there when the wharf collapsed. That condemned wharf had collapsed, and certain things were brought to our attention. And the president made a commitment as well that he was going to redo the washrooms. Those are completed now, and we actually have 30 washrooms that have been done through the Ministry of Local Government from the president's commitment. So we have done those back modern, and hopefully it gives relief to the vendors who are there, even if it's not vendors, those who are the consumers. But we are also looking at the roof. It's a big problem with the roof. But we're also looking at an entire holistic design for that area. We are working, that is going to be one of the areas that we're looking at with the King's Foundation. So the King's Foundation is going to play an integral role with Guyana, and its collaboration with Guyana in ensuring that we have that ecosystem built out in Georgetown that is going to ensure that our historical sites are restored, that our green spaces become a part of the city, so that we can promote healthy lifestyles, so that we can have a space for families to go to, so that we can have places such as Stabrook, rework it, but also maintain and preserve its historical features. So, but one, it becomes an economic hub, and two, it becomes a place where families feel safe, where they feel like they're outside of Guyana, if you want to say that, but we're going to be right home. It's also overlooking our Damara River. So there is a whole plan that we're looking at for Stabrook Market that I believe is going to transform that space, but also not transform the historical features of it, because everybody knows that when they go around that area, you identify that area by Stabrook and the clock. And it has become that, that, if you want to say, sentimental, nostalgic part of Georgetown. So cleaning up the area is one of the first things, making sure that vendors are still being able to apply their trade, but we're going to do it in a very structured and very in a very different way and different look. So it's there. Temporarily, though, we want to be able to help fix the roof.
But is there a timeline for this holistic plan?
We're looking at it within the next 5 years.
Okay.
Within the next 5, because the collaboration with the King's Foundation will continue. But what you will see from the King's Foundation is fantastic. I've had the opportunity to see some of what they would like, what the plan that, based on the president's vision and the vice president's vision for what Georgetown should be looking like. They have come up with an idea that looks really great to me. And one of the things that started already, which is the transformation of the zoo. Right. And it's all going to be connecting. And we are going to be able to have, yes, those spaces. I'm looking forward to seeing our places being restored, our historical sites. I'm looking forward to being able to see somebody able to walk their dog in a space. Like, the seawall is a place where people literally now go and just unwind and can do that. So, yes.
But also on that, is there, before I move to, the next question, is there an idea of how much all of this would cost? Because I think that Georgetown Enhancement Program, many citizens would be looking forward to seeing that manifest. But do you have an idea of how much as yet?
I think it will cost the government billions of dollars, billions of dollars. But also, we are looking to collaborate. It's when a collaboration is not just the government pulling out the money and just having a design be brought in by somebody else. Obviously, we are going to look at, for example, through the King's Foundation and the Qatar Foundation as well, we signed an MOU for a building to be where Selena's is. And that was done in January of this year. And it was done, yes, January of this year. And the funding is coming from Qatar for that. So it's not all going to be government, but it's going to be that collaboration between. And I'm thankful that I have this opportunity to say that our president can really represent us internationally on the stage. Yes, because he has been an integral part of this discussion and push for this to happen. But it started a long time ago when the vice president was so passionate about the environment and the built environment. And I think the president also, being a person who has come from housing, who has made his mark in urban planning and development, and tourism as well. Right, he has expanded that vision, and is making not only a vision, but it's becoming a reality with the things that we're seeing. Yeah, so
definitely a change in the environmental landscape.
I can tell you though, I'm very excited. I am very excited to see what this project is going to, when it completes, how it's going to look, to see how people are going to benefit from it and be happy about it.
For me, especially Stabrook, because I've used that for so many years to get to Georgetown. Yes. And to be able to see it change over a period of time. Yes. That would be amazing to see.
I think we'll work towards that. Yeah. We'll work, but the immediate relief is right now is for vendors. It's for vendors.
Minister Parag, another important initiative that falls under your ministry is the National Pathway Workers Project. And thus far, based on estimates from the 2025 budget, we understand that it employs nearly 18,000 Guyanese, and 12,000 of that number represents women.
Yes.
So tell us a bit about the success of this initiative, where you see the most employment in what sectors, and also what's the plan to expand 2025 and 2030 to 2030?
Right. So the Pathway program is a very significant program for us, and for quite a few reasons. One is that we want to be able to lift people out of poverty. That's the first reason. Secondly, with us knowing that globally there is a rising cost of living, the government would have tried to put several measures in place. Not try to, they placed several measures in place to be able to cushion the consequences of the rise of cost of living. One of those was to ensure that if there is someone working in your household already or not, and you want to be able to have an earning at the end of the day, because people have to live, they have to be able to get certain things. Another person can be employed in that household under the part-time program. And it works because it's 10 days per month. It's $40,000 per month. We are working with the banks to ensure that the interest rate for housing and home ownership reduce. And that is going to, if your mother's working and you as a child, as a young woman doesn't have a job, but you want to be able to get to places, you want to be able to move up in life, right? You can start at the part-time program earning your 40,000, your 20-something thousand from that 40,000 can go towards your mortgage payment. You become a homeowner at the age of 25 or whatever the case may be, if you're 30, if you're 35. And so that opportunity. But there is also another aspect to this, I think, that people are not fully aware of. And I've heard the Vice President speak about it so many times. The President has spoken about it so many times. This is not just a temporary measure. It is something to be able to move people from one level to the next in terms of training, in terms of acquiring qualifications to move into permanent jobs, to be able to acquire a skill set, a different skill set. So the part-time workers, we want to be able to position them through 2 years from now, 3 years from now, in a different space in life. So they can be able to, if you have CXC qualifications now, you can be able to utilize the training that we have with government, whether it be through the Gold Scholarship, whether it be through WIN, whether it be through one of these. Empower yourself to move to another level. So that's what we also want to see. Transition some of them, if not most of them, to permanent positions as well. So it's not only to cushion cost of living, it's not only to move from the basic, pulling you out of poverty. It's also empowering you further to move ahead in life. We want to see people who are now working perhaps in an NDC as a part-time worker in the administrative department to 5 years from now, or having a degree and becoming a middle management perhaps in a company, private sector or government.
And the system that's in place for that, you're saying that there's a system that is designed to ensure that those who pass through the system, they are able to transition. There's a timeline for them to move from point A to point B.
We haven't set a timeline, and it isn't as if we're gathering 18,000 persons and say to them, look, we're moving you from part-time to permanent. But we are making those opportunities that are available to everyone available to them, encouraging them at the same time to take these opportunities. Because I find now this government, when I was at UG was free, I would have been so happy. You know, I paid through UG. So like so many people who would have worked, the money coming out of their jobs. Now the opportunities are so abundant in terms of training, whether it be a technical skill or an academic qualification. And people are not, I don't know if it's being taken for granted, because it's now just so many opportunities, but we're encouraging people to be able to take these opportunities because obviously we want our human resource, our most valuable asset, our people, to be able to move forward with our transformation as well. We want them to be able to equally gain from jobs, being in a position where their skill set will matter to that particular whatever we want to be able to do. So I think that the part-time program has been very successful. Everywhere I go, somebody wants a part-time job. It doesn't matter the region. And I know that people have bashed it, but I don't know that there was ever any other program that another government or another party has come up with, or even can come up with now, that has been so impactful for people, whether it be young people, whether it be older people. I think people are happy that they are able to be employed and move ahead.
Yeah, I personally know a few people who are employed as part-time workers, and they're very grateful for the opportunity to learn and to earn at the same time.
I think in another couple of years, it will move from the fact that they're grateful for a part-time job to they want a permanent job.
Correct.
So they want to be able to, and
how you
we've
build
already
them.
right, and we already know that that's going to be but it's also not only knowing that, but we also want people to be in that position. So,
Absolutely. Minister, it would be remiss of me not to speak to you or mention anything about the local government elections. We saw at the last LGE in 2023 that the PPP made some major inroads. And I want to remind our audience very quickly that the PPP had secured 108,000 plus votes, proportional representation votes, while the AP and UFC secured 68,200. And particularly in Georgetown and in Linden, I want to remind that in Georgetown, the PPP increased the seats won from 7 to 11, and APNU reduced from 23 to 19.
Yes.
And then also in Linden, PPP also moved up the ranks. So with that in mind, I want to know, what is the game plan to increase the numbers, the gains at the next elections?
Right. So I think that the reason why we saw that kind of increase and the reason why we saw that move by people is because people are seeing, not only seeing, but they're feeling, they're experiencing the transformation that's taking place. That's one. But they're also a part and parcel of it. They feel included. And also what the president wants to achieve ultimately is unity as well as prosperity. And I think people are seeing that this rhetoric and this narrative of race and to use it to divide our people, that narrative that has always been used, that it is falling to the wayside now because the resources are being equitably distributed. That has always been the case, but I think it's been ramped up far more now. It's become more evident to people now. And I don't know whether that is through social media, whether that is through the fact that now you see everything that's happening as opposed to then. I think it was happening then too. It just wasn't as out there as we would have liked it to be. But now I think that you have younger people, you have people who are no longer held captive by the thought of voting for race. They are now moving towards, I'm voting for progress. I am voting for myself. I am voting for development that I will be a part of. And I can see that I have a space with this government and with this party to be able to do that. I can see myself avenues being created that has never been created where people are being empowered through training. And you talk about women. Women make up a significant portion of our country and our voting population.
Right.
And women have significantly benefited from home ownership. It's over 50%. For the Gold Scholarship Program, it's over 70%. For, you just mentioned in the Pathway Program that so many women have benefited from that too, 12,000 out of 18,000. And so women women are becoming, whether it's agriculture, in the agricultural sector, and contributing significantly to our food security. And so women are playing a part in all of these things, whether it be energy security, climate security, food security. They're benefiting. And that's because the government, through the president and the vice president and prime minister, has been able to create that environment for them to thrive. And so people are seeing that. I think that's why there was that shift in the local government elections. And I want to say that you can use that as a benchmark, but so many things can happen from that time to general elections. And we haven't lost sight of that. But I think that we have worked hard as a government. I think the leadership has been fantastic. And when I say work hard as a government, ensuring that people are served. And I mean, service to people is the ultimate service, right? And that's what we want to be able to do. And for a long time, 2015 to 2020, I had this. Well, first of all, being in the legal profession, I thought disregarding the entire the court such as the CCJ, if you're going to disregard that order, you're going to pretty much run a cowboy show in this country. But also, what affected me mostly, I had a young son. At that point, he was very young. And I couldn't see him growing up in a country where he had opportunities that were abundant to him. I don't want my son to leave Guyana. He's Guyanese. I don't want to leave Guyana. Where would I go? I'm Guyanese. So many other people don't have the opportunity to leave this country and shouldn't want to leave your country. And so my fight, if you want to call it that, was to be able to ensure that children like him, and so they have a future, they have a bright future. So coming into this, being able to gratefully, I'm so grateful that I have the platform that you can serve people, no matter what the platform is, you can be able to serve people. And so I think people have thankfully seen that, and they are going past that whole rhetoric of race discrimination. And because you have the Because We Care cash grant, how is that discriminatory?
Right.
You know what I mean? How do you sift out that an Afro-Guyanese child is not getting? And it's all children, whether you're in a private school, whether you're in a public school, whether you're in secondary school, primary school, nursery school, you're all benefiting. Whichever region you're from, whatever you look like, you're benefiting. It's not discriminatory. And so that has made an impact on people. And I think that's why it's moving forward. That's why they're choosing to be with and associate with a party that they can see, and it's evident that the full aim is prosperity and progress.
And as we're on the topic of elections, we're just a few weeks away from our general and regional elections. What would be your message to voters?
My message to voters would be, when you hit that polling station, and even before that, you have a lot of material, you have a lot of experience in all of the communities with what the government, what the party, the PPPC party has been doing, People's Progressive Party Civic, over the last 5 years. I don't even think that we need to have a huge comparison from 2015 to 2020 for voters to be able to vote on their conscience. I say to people, my one message would be to vote for your conscience. Do not vote on any narrative that will seek to divide our country, that will seek to divide communities, that will seek to divide our ethnicity. Our country is unique. We are proud to be Guyanese outside of this country, anywhere we go, because we're Guyanese, not because we're singly Afro-Guyanese or Indo-Guyanese or Amerindian or whatever that is. But we are unique. We're a beautiful country that is a multi-ethnic, multi-religious, multicultural. Any narrative that seeks to divide that or to bring any division among people because of that is not someone or a party that has your best interest at heart. And also, this is a party that has had 7 to 5 years of a track record of progress. Whether you want to look back from 1992 or 1950 or whatever the case may be, whether you want to look at us in opposition, you want to look at us in government. I tell people, there was a time when you didn't have a health center in a remote area. But it was this government that actually started placing health huts in areas, and then they transition into health centers. You have to look at what was available. Our country per capita had a debt. Children who were unborn had a debt on their head. The vice president, when he was president, worked assiduously for those years to ensure that we were pulled out of debt, and at the same time, with whatever little that we had, progress was still being made in the country. Now we are at a point where we have oil, and we're utilizing that for wealth creation. The president, the vice president are working not only nationally but internationally to ensure that there is so much benefit. And so I say to people when they head out there, and this is being transformed into infrastructure. All the roads are being done in communities. Lights are being placed in communities. We are working towards, in the next 5 years, safer and cleaner communities. We are working towards more job creation, although we have honored our manifesto promise by creating more than the construction sector alone has taken up all the 50,000 jobs, right? And working towards, but with all of that transformation, most importantly, education and health. Education is now free from nursery to tertiary. Health, the quality of health care is improving, and it has improved tremendously. We said we're going to do 12 new hospitals. You're getting 6 of those new hospitals commissioned before the elections. And so we're working towards improving health care. So those are very important things. But I think what is most important is that after seeing all of this and having nothing to compare it with in terms of a legacy of zero being done by the PNC and the AFC, and now a person who is coming in here who I strongly believe is a national security risk and cannot do anything for this country but it's only talks, and has absolutely zero experience on running a country, and believing that coming into office it will be all hunky-dory and it's going to be just a snap of a finger, and policies will be done, will be made, and people's lives will change. That's not how it works. It takes hard work. It takes deliberate thinking. None of these policies are by or initiatives are by accident. They're deliberate. They're strategic. There is consultation with the people. There is on-the-ground work for every single day serving the people. And so I believe that there is zero to compare it with in terms of legacy and track record from any other party. So I say to people, when you head to the polls on the 1st of September, and this is something that I have reiterated in all of my public meetings, you are heading into 2025, knowing what your president is capable of. He has proven himself as a president, and he's, as a matter of fact, you say that I've exceeded expectations. I think he has been leaps and bounds, and I don't know who will fill his shoes, and it's big shoes to fill, but he's been incredible, and his leadership has been phenomenal in the last 5 years. You know what you're getting in the next 5 years. You do not know what you're going to be getting with any other. Why gamble with your future? Why risk that? Why risk an entire country for something that you don't know, and some people who have not proven themselves to you when they were given an opportunity to do so? So I say vote on your conscience. And I say you have enough, more than enough. And your conscience will tell you that you have more than enough to know that progress has been made, and made in a great way in the last 5 years. With President Ali.
On that note, I think we can end our program there. Thank you very much, Minister Parag. This has been
thank you, indeed.
A very insightful discussion, and I think we have learned so much just listening to you talk about what's happening in the Ministry of Local Government and Regional Development.
We have a lot more going on.
And we hope that it continues. So our viewers, thank you so much for listening, and we will see you again next week, same time, same place.
Thanks for watching Starting Point. Follow us on Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn for critical updates and exclusive content.